Walk with me, let the truth be free. I'm on a higher frequency, where the darkness meets the energy. Darkness comes to the light, and in the depths, a power ignites. If you tap into that light, the dark lights, you'll find a secret, the key to unlock the might. They lied to you when they said the dark was weak. Let me show you how deep the truth speaks. The darkness is where the light is born, where the stars shine brightest and the moon glows with gentle scorn. It's the space where creativity unfolds, the dreams and wait, and where the unknown is told. The darkness isn't something to fear, it's something to respect, for in its depths lies the power to connect with the earth, with the universe, with the very essence of life. The darkness is where we find our strength, our resilience, and our inner light. So let's not be afraid of the dark, let's embrace it, let's walk with it, and let's let it guide us to the truth. Walk with me, walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. Yeah. Black, the melanin rich, the power within, the source of creation where the truth begins. Black is the foundation, the root of all the darkness that gives birth to the light that stands tall. It's the symbol of arrogance, of sophistication, of beauty that's real. Black is the night sky with stars that shine so bright. It's the fertile soil where seeds take root and growth takes flight. Black is the power that's in every cell, the foundation that all things dwell. It's the rhythm of the drum, the beat of the heart, the music that sets us apart. Black is the culture, the history, the heritage that makes us who we are. It's the pride, the strength, the resilience that refuses to fade. So let's celebrate blackness in all its forms. Let's honor its beauty and let's let its power transform. Walk with me, walk with me, walk with me. Walk with me, walk with me. Yeah. In the shadows lies the truth that they've tried to conceal. The power of the dark is the power that's real. It's the fertile soil where seeds take root, the darkness that nourishes the growth of the fruit. The shadows are where the light can't reach, where the mysteries lie and where the secrets are kept. But in the shadows also lies the power to create, to manifest, to bring forth new life. The darkness is where the magic happens, where the impossible becomes possible, and where dreams come true. So let's not fear the shadows, let's embrace them, let's dance with them, and let's let them guide us to the truth. The truth that sets us free, the truth that empowers us, the truth that makes us whole. Walk with me. Yeah. The truth is coming and it won't be stopped. The black light is shining and it's on the clock. They can't contain it, they can't define the power of blackness. That's divine, we're taking back the narrative. We're setting the record straight. Black is powerful, black is great. The truth is rising, it's taking its place, it's shining it.
And yeah, once again, putting it down for you and yours. This is another episode of the Lion's Den, the segment titled, Ooh, the conversation continues. And as always, we want you to walk with us as Sister Karina gives us the original music that you're now hearing in the background.
Walk with me,
And
let the
with the Lord
truth
and
be
Christ by our
free.
side,
I'm on a higher
though we're broken,
frequency
bruised, battered, and
where the
scarred,
darkness meets the
we are still
energy.
continuing to walk,
Darkness.
move, motivate, relocate, and be able to give you what you need. And that is much needed information. Okay? And also, as you know, when you tune to the Lion's Den, you're also rolling with the pride because we're always permanently ready and destroying evil, starting with our own because we don't walk as fakers and phonies. We are diamonds with, a flaw, but better a diamond with a flaw because with a diamond with a flaw, you still have a valuable piece and you chip away the flaw and you get the perfection that you strive for. So Lady Karima and myself, we strive for perfection, although, we are far from it, but better that than to have a perfect pebble. All these fakers, people who smile in your face like the OJ say, but they all looking to take your place straight, backstabbing you, throat cutting you, just looking to hurt you. All right, better to have that. Better to have a diamond with a flaw than a perfect pebble. Because when you toss that pebble in the sky and it falls, it shatters into a million pieces like fake people out here. And also, when you rock with us, you know the formula that we come with, the 7 eyes, the intelligence, the integrity, the independence, the influence, the insight, the inspiration. Okay. And did I say independence already? It's one of the eyes. I try to commit this to memory, but lately I'm starting to get old and I get forgetful. But the 7 eyes. Yeah, information. There you go. Information. We bring you all these factors, which equal the sum of the facts. That's frequently accurate, correct truths. And you also know that we're one of the many factions of the anti-coon movement. And what's a coon? You know what a coon is. A complete, obvious, obedient, yes, a boss nigga. We don't do that here. There's no samboing. There's no buck dancing. No bed wenching. No big black buck. No pickaninnies. None of the watermelon and chicken eating niggers. We don't do that here, as we are strong in the anti-coon force. Why? Because we can't be bought, and more importantly, we're not going to be sold. And also, as we continue on, when you roll with the Lion's Den, you're also rolling with the rebels, because we are righteous, enlightened, beautiful ones, exalting, life-giving scriptures. Rebels, deal with it. And this is also the show where we ask, aren't you tired of being lied to? Well, if you are, you've tuned in to the right place at the right time in the right dynamic, as we also come in this spiritual formula, biblical wise, of Isaiah the 41st chapter, verses 21 through 24, which tells us what? To produce our cause and always bring forth our strong evidence to support whatever it is we teach. And we always give you out here in Lion's Den land. And also, the book of the Bible, 1 Thessalonians 5, the 5th chapter, verse 21, tells us to be at all times ready to prove all things that we proclaim. Now, we assure you that we will never ever profess what we don't know, but we'll always profess everything that we do know. You have our guarantee on that. And please be advised that Lady Karima and myself, we're always empathetic and sympathetic to those of you out there who can't handle this grand ultimate truthality social media experiment called the Lion's Den. We understand that. And you have our deepest sympathies if you can't handle it. Because we assure you, we're not gonna compromise it for nobody. So as always, you're more than welcome to leave, scram, skedaddle, beat it, any adjective and a verb that describes the action of you don't have to be here. Because let me assure you, my Negro and my Negress, if you like being lied to and you leave up out of here, you will not be missed. And last but not least, one of the many house rules set forth here in the Lion's Den, but one of the top rules we had put forth by one of our beautiful family members, I Am Manna. When you enter the Lion's Den, please wipe your feet, mind your manners, conduct yourself in an orderly manner, and enjoy yourself. Because at any given time, if you get out of line, out of order, whether it be in the comment section or if you decide to want to come here and join us here on the dais and converse with us, if you get out of line, you will be kicked up out of here by the lioness. She'll break you down with a quickness, work you out like physical fitness, hit you with so many get up out of here. Not even Jehovah will witness. And that's real talk. And so, tonight, our in-flight conversation will vary. But as you can see the title, the MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein Ugly. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Now that the Democrats have sworn in, I'll call her client 218, because God forgive me, I cannot still pronounce this woman's name. That is ridiculous. And forgive me. Oh, but now everything is a full steam ahead on the revelation of the Epstein files. Oh, and now you have our illustrious president, Donald J. Trump, saying he wants the Epstein files released, trying to fake the funk like he's in control of the game, and he's not. But still, we have that going on. We have a lot of other atrocious things transpiring in this government. You have a infighting and civil war now with MAGA versus MAGA. You got all those MAGAs acting up. Here it is now. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's all up in arms, supposedly, at Donald J. Trump and company, and she wants to now jump ship, and she's now singing a whole new tune. Lady, please. Stop, lady, stop. See, what's really happening is this civil war in the MAGA Legion is that here it is with the potential fallout, prison, impeachments, firings, and possible firing squads. Everybody now want to try and save their bums, their booties. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you don't want to have nobody fooled. I remember you was full steam ahead, MAGA lady. So you ain't got me fooled. Not at all. Oh, but still, ooh, it's about to get ugly. Thus proving the old Bible adage, when you go digging a grave for one, you best dig that grave you're digging for yourself. And that's where we're at. Also, our in-flight conversation will, again, we're going to cover all these, the MAGA issue, the Epstein. Also, we're going to probably recap and retouch on this whole MK Ultra thing and all that good stuff. But what I want to do, as now, the seventh answer has us lined up on runway number 9 for takeoff. And as we're now gaining altitude and we're going to start talking and conversing, what I want to do first and foremost, I have to recap on an issue that the seventh answer and I brought out some time ago. And she and I both, we do our research and we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. But I came across a video, by a contemporary of mine who calls himself Professor Black Truth. We don't know each other officially, but I'm always listening to he and some other voices out there in the wilderness who do their thing, and they do it hardcore. But for all you who have been loyal, absolutely loyal viewers of The Lion's Den, do you recall when the seventh answer and I took you on an odyssey in reference to a lot of Black women and Black children turning up dead in certain hospitals throughout the country? There seems to be, I'm not going to even say seem to be, there is a definite war, though not undeclared or officially declared war, wherein Black women are going in pregnant with their children, and then either they or the child turn up dead, or a lot of Black women are taking their children to hospitals and certain doctors' offices, and the children turn up dead. Well, I want to do a little detour real quick before we go into the full throttle gist of what we're going to discuss tonight. And I want to just show you, some findings that Professor Black Truth himself has found in this area in a couple of recent atrocious events that, this is why in that broadcast you had the seventh answer. She started suggesting to a lot of you sisters and brothers out here who have that, who have that notion and that knack to start investigating, learning how to do what they call midwifery or child delivery of your own, or for the brother you may call it mid-husbandry or whatever. We need to learn these skills of our own, considering the high risk, and I don't want to say murderous, but I have to call a spade a spade. Excuse me. I have to call a spade, wherein a lot of our women and children are coming up dead. So I want to take you on that venture real quick, and there's another quick short conversation I want to have following up our last discussion that we gave you about being vigilant and being aware of your environment and who you keep company with or who you surround yourself with. So as the seventh answer starts queuing up the videos and everything else, I just want to give you the premise on what direction we're going real quick. But again, the MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein ugly. We know that we have an administration, and we're never gonna stop saying that we're dealing with both rogue elements of the Democratic and Republican Party, but since the Republicans are the primary and the absolute power right now in the House, the Senate, you name it, and judiciary, we are now in absolute chaos. We have all kinds of creeps, kooks, crazies, and pedophiles who have been governing us and now are ripping off we the people at every turn, looking to take away not only Medicaid, Medicare, not only SNAP, but also now your Social Security benefits, your disability monies. They're looking to rape, rob, pillage, and plunder like the pirates they've always been. All right, and we have all kinds of chaos that is transpiring, but not only in the Senate, but all throughout the country. Now we have ICE that is on a rampage. You got some uproar now transpiring in North Carolina, which we hope to cover that with as well as we converse. But look, there's a lot that is transpiring. But most notably for my sisters that are listening, to all the little ladies out there and brothers who may have that medical, yearning, that talent. We need more of you all to get out here and learn how to do child deliveries. Because our lives, and I'm going to say it, both literally, absolutely literally, are at stake here. Okay, in the video we're going to show you the conversation that I'm going to break down, once the videos are queued up and everything else. We're going to just take you through it piece by piece, but we gave you about 8 months ago a clear picture, of events that were transpiring in New York, hospitals in New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, all right, and South and North Carolinas. We took you down that very dark path, and there are some people who say, oh, how come every time I tune into the Lion's Den, you guys are always doom and gloom? Look, check this out. If you are looking for a glee club, and like I keep saying, if you can't handle the realities that I and the Seventh Answer venture and talk about, you don't have to be here. I'm going to keep saying that over and over. See, you're now in the lion's den. And lions and lionesses, they protect the pride. They protect their cubs and the entire overall family that they develop. And therefore, they are ready at all times to rend and tear apart anything or anyone that seeks to harm them. So, I and the Seventh Answer, we come in the spirit of our God, is in the spirit of the book of the Bible called Ezekiel 3:17, where we're instructed to be watchmen, and in Karima's case, a watchwoman for all danger. And not only are we instructed to watch, we're also instructed to be prepared to go to war. Right now, it is not with the sword or any carnal weaponry. Right now, we're armed with the stone cold, uncompromising, unrelenting truth. And sometimes there are some truths that when they are uncovered, you have to go as late great Rudy Ray Moore, known as Dolomite, would say, you have to go way down in the jungle deep. And that means we have to cut away brush, rough terrain, predators who may seek to harm the pride. That is what we're going to do here. If you want fluffy, if you want the latest celebrity gossip and conversations that don't matter, then this is not the place for you. It really isn't. As the song Walk With Me laid out, there's some aspects of the darkness that must be embraced, that must be accepted, that must be uncovered in order to step into the light. And the seventh answer and myself, we're built for it. And again, if you're that soul, male and female, that's tired of being lied to, then you are welcome to listen. Or if you want to come in and converse with us, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But if you like being lied to, then, in your mortal words, a snagglepuss. Exit stage left. So let me continue on. So now here we have the incompetence of this administration, and now they're all at each other's throat. Some people are mad at Tucker Carlson. Oh, Tucker Carlson's going hard body in the paint against one aspect of MAGA. Now you got little small hat boy, Ben Shapiro. He's making noise about MAGA. He's coming with his guns blazing. Then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene and so many others now. Basically, here it is. All that evil in their nature. You know something? And this is going to hurt some of my white viewers' feelings when I say this. And I'm saying this only, I'm not speaking for the Lion's Den. I'm allowed to come here and talk and discuss things, but still in accordance to the House rules of Lady Karima and also the Federal Communications Commission. I want to put that out there. What I'm going to say is not at all racist in nature nor mean-spirited, but I have to say this. Looking at your history, for most of my European listeners, y'all have this very, very colorful history of always turning on and attacking each other. I mean, it's just what y'all do. I mean, now, if you can have conversations, albeit some of the stuff be lies about Black folk, and we've allowed you to, and of course we have to come back and uncover your lies or your projections. But I have to say this. When you look at England, France, Germany, Rome, Greece, wherever y'all have ruled, wherever you go, there's a faction of you that are always adversarial. You always want to come in and bogart and take over everything that isn't yours. I mean, America. Some of you have the audacity to still say that you came here as settlers. No, you didn't. Some of you still will say that you migrated here. No, you did not. No, you didn't. See, let me help you. This is why we understand why Donald Trump and so many Ron DeSantis and so many other Republicans out here are so desperate now to want to wipe away the true history don't want it to be talked about in schools any longer. Look, for all my European listeners, when you take what doesn't belong to you, when you use war and underhanded tactics to rip someone off, you're not settling in their land, you're invading. See, you didn't migrate here at all. You were kicked out of England because a great many, again, the so-called rich aristocracy of white folks couldn't stand you PWTs, your PWT ancestors, poor white trash. They couldn't stand them, kicked them out of England, put them on boats and get up out of here. And through much, I guess luck and whatever else, you somehow navigated here to America, to the Americas. Well, I guess Christopher Columbus, who discovered America. But still, you invaded America like you invaded the Polynesian Islands. You invaded Africa, where you've invaded everywhere you have touched down. And that just seems to be your nature, to be adversarial and at war with one another when you don't have anybody else to attack. That's just real talk. And it's backed up by history. So therefore, I can't be attacked by the FCC or anyone else because I'm actually touching and using real historical documented facts. Why here in America? All right? You had the French against the Italian against the French, the Italians against the Polish, all those gangs that you all had beating up on each other. And then, of course, you unified the tear down Black Wall Street and all the other successful businesses and ventures that we Black folk, the children of Israel, had here in America, seeking to come up out of our captivity. Yeah, that's right. I know that DEI and all these other policies, you're desperate to try to revamp and reimagine and revision America. And that's why a great many of you can't stand our presence. And you all have this so-called Black fatigue because we continue to put a stain on your history. But still, what I'm getting at with the seventh answer now driving home is that all this political fallout is because all your hate, all your evil is now imploding and exploding and beating up on you. Now, some of you out there, and see that the spiritual handwriting is on the proverbial wall. There are a great many of you out there, you now realize who we are and the reality of this world, albeit you still have the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, still trying to keep up this ruse and this whole state of Israel ruse, as the nation of Israel is now being restored and finally resurrected. Again, the Lord can't come quick enough for my taste. All right, all these murders of our people and all these killings and everything else, it's just leaving me unrattled. And I can admit, even my faith is a little shaken a tad bit. All right, but still, it's not shaken enough where I still won't get out here and advocate about who we are and why the world is, you're seeing the upheaval that you're seeing. But just a reminder, again, we have to go through history to bring you to the current condition that is happening. But again, for all my Caucasian listeners in particular, because I know you're tuning in here because you're tired of being lied to, and you know that here in the Lions Den, you're going to get it straight with no chaser, albeit the drinks will be a little unpleasant. But still, as I said again, this adversarial attack one another nature, that's always been your modus operandi. And this is exactly why my people, we the children of Israel, have been delineating. See, you're disturbed by a great many of us and are quiet. But see, everything is spiritual. And as a brother of mine taught me some years ago, sometimes the Lord will give us the intuition to know when it's time to be quiet, to get out of the way, so that he may start working. See, this delineation that you're seeing, black folks getting out the way, we being quiet, a great many of us not showing up, not saying anything. We're being quiet because, see, we see the judgment on the hand, on the wall for you. And we're getting out the way now. And this spiritual butt whooping that you all are about to receive on every level is much needed and much deserved. And we're getting out the way because, see, we done took enough blows and enough beatdowns for you for centuries with no thanks. See, all this voting against us, I'm going to keep reminding you all. Donald Trump, who was a Democrat, all up in black people's faces at one time. All up in black people's videos, and he was here, he was dead. Okay, but again, he's a businessman, a greasy businessman who plays both sides of the fence. Now, all of a sudden, he's MAGA, make America great again. White is white. I'm white, y'all. He's white, y'all. Or orange or whatever. And here it is. Some of you, for all you Klansmen out there on the low, all you posse comitasse, all you neo-Nazi and the new Ku Klux Klan, and all you just voted that man in because he had you all fooled. Yeah, he racist in the whole nine. Ain't no getting around that. But still, look at the games he's been playing, because like the greasy businessman who plays both sides of the fence, he's ripping you off lovely. And you deserve it. Some of you out there, all my California listeners on the Caucasian side, whatever Governor Gavin Newsom is doing to you out there, you deserve it. And everybody in between who voted against our reparations and what we needed, because as long as the racist foot wasn't in your behind, you didn't care. Everybody joined that grifting bandwagon to pile on the Black American Foundation of Black Americans and whatever. But now you're finding out that all that evil, all that energy is now boomeranging back on all your behinds. And now the Republican bunch, the Republican Nazi bunch to be exact, ooh, everybody falling apart at the seams. And now with the Joe Epstein files now being required to be released, the Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's doing everything she can to still try to suppress him Your boy, what's his name again? What's this guy's name? Mm, Michael Johnson, I think it is. He doing everything he try to keep him suppressed. You have all this uproar and distraction attempts now going on in North Carolina as ICE is down there now wreaking havoc, and you have citizens fighting back. But listen, for all you bigwigs that are listening to this broadcast, because we know that you're listening, I won't call you the elites because you're not elite. Please. Well, wait. Hold on. Everything is based upon subjective. Yeah, when it comes to observation, it could be either subjective or objective. So, from a subjective point of view, for all you elites, you elite thieves, elite liars, elite robber barons, elite cutthroats, yeah, that beatdown is especially coming for you. All your plans, your scam cons, and monkey hustles are not going to work. All your agreements with all these other nations in their confederacy with you isn't working. That's exactly why this whole APAC thing, forged in hell, is of hell, is now going to hell. And now everything is coming to a very diseased head. And now the Lord is coming with the scalpel to cut into the body and remove all the dangerous lesions and cancers and germs and other filthy, unhealthy diseases in order to make the body of the 12 tribes of Israel healthy. This is why we're seeing, brothers and sisters and everyone else listening, the social, political, militaristic, economic upheaval of this society as a whole. This is why we're seeing jobs just dropping, companies and corporations drying up. See, Wendy's, McDonald's, and all these other fast food corporations continue to close stores. Starbucks and all the other coffee houses. See, listen. In your plotting to take down our nation and our people, that plotting and all that planning, just like the ancient Egyptians and all other nations who had us in captivity, thought they could. They thought that the Lord, the God of Israel, was against us to the point where they had the green light to take us out of existence. No, now the Lord is showing you, no. Mm-mm. Sure, he's had some very horrible things allowed to happen to us because of our choices, our bad choices, but that don't mean he green lighted you to take us out of existence. And now you're seeing that resistance and you're taking your own selves out. And oh yeah, for all you FBI, CIA, and every other intelligentsia agency listening to this broadcast, as always, I, Brother Mala Akai, that's my Hebrew name, messenger of the Lord, well, I strive to be, although I'm going through it right now. But I, in the seventh answer, Lady Karima, in the name of the one true God, Yahweh, on the blood of our Savior, Yahweh Shai, the God of Israel wants you all to know He is demanding and commanding for you to let our people go, that we may serve Him. Now you're going to harden your heart. You've been ruling for so long. You've been getting away with so much. You think that it's just your God-given right to do what you're doing. But no, no, no. It isn't. And as you harden your heart and you continue to do what you want to do, well, the Lord is going to speed things up prophetically, and He really needs to. I can say that as a man because things are just out of control. All right? But now that we've given you our premise and we laid down the premise, we're going to now go into, again, a recap of what we discussed first here on the Conversation Continues. And the beautiful brother, Professor Black Truth, and his research and findings came across this. And okay, let me just give you fair warning. The first few minutes of this is going to have your blood boiling. It's going to be tough to watch. But we will be remiss if we don't show you while we here on the conversation continue to say to all y'all who have that medical gift, because each one have our different gifts. If you can get into midwifery and mid-husbandry, like as a matter of fact, singer Erykah Badu is very good at. She took a course in it, and she's wonderful at it. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. But anyway, we're gonna run this video. We're gonna break it down piece by piece. But like I said, the first 5 to 10 minutes of this is gonna be rough to watch. So with that being said, 7th answer in the area, of course, in the area of fair use. We don't make any money off these videos. We just use them for analytical purposes. Let's go to work, 7th answer.
What? How many times have you been pregnant? 3. This is your 3rd pregnancy? Yes! You have 2 babies at home? It's in my ass! You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the Black ones?
Everyone's a personality patient for you. His last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due date is the 10th.
Her due date is the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people here.
The first part of this morning's briefing originates in Greg Abbott's Texas. The white woman in this video is LaChrista Vaughn. She is, or perhaps was, a registered nurse at Dallas Regional Medical Center. And as you saw, she totally ignored the excruciating pain that this Black woman, Carrie Jones, was in. Now, Miss Jones is the mother of 2 children at the time of this video, and she was in labor with her 3rd. She was only minutes away from delivering, but Vaughn was acting as if she was there for the common cold. And that's not because she didn't know. Obviously she did. And even her mother is saying, do you treat everyone like this or just the black patients? Less than 15 minutes later, Miss Jones delivered a baby boy. And from the video, she, the mother, and the grandmother appeared to be well. Now, you got to keep an eye on cases like this, because keep in mind, when pregnant women are put through unnecessarily traumatic birthing processes like the one you just saw, what happens is there can be major problems for them that they're not immediately aware of, and the same goes for the child. Now, you won't be surprised to learn that this isn't the first time that this Vaughn woman was caught doing mess like this. In 2023, she did pretty much the same thing, only this time with a black male patient.
You can go ahead and turn your phone off too, please.
I can record. I'm in a public place.
That's fine. That's fine. All right.
Now,
Yeah, look at the treatment.
So that's at least two documented incidents this woman's been involved in. You heard what she was saying. Turn off the camera, as if she has some sort of control over that. That means she knows exactly what she's.
and that's a special needs young man that they're rough handling. You see that? I want y'all to see what they're doing in these hospitals intentionally to our people. Okay? And like Professor Blacktruth said, this is not the first time this heifer has done this. Real talk. Now I'm gonna let it run some more, but every now and again we're gonna interject. But this is rough to watch, man. Go ahead, Seventh Answer. Damn.
Doing. She didn't want anybody having this moment preserved for posterity's sake. Now, there have been people who have said that this Vaughn creep has been fired, that she lost her state license and all the rest of it. But there's also people saying that she hasn't been fired. And Dallas Regional Medical Center hasn't confirmed either way. I haven't been able to verify it either. And in Greg Abbott's Texas, I'd say it's even money whether this heifer is still working in the same place that she was. The chances are excellent that she could very well still be employed there, or she's been transferred quietly somewhere else. We know how white supremacy does it. Whether it's the police or racist teachers or racist medical practitioners, these people don't get fired, they just get transferred. And this is yet another example of how the problem isn't that these medical practitioners are not trained how to treat black patients. The problem is this is how they're trained to treat black patients. They are taught to ignore black people in clear medical distress. They are taught to ignore and disregard their own medical knowledge and training, but only when it relates to black patients. If you're dealing with a black patient, well, there's nothing wrong with them. This is an opportunity for you to get away with something. The problem isn't that they don't know what to do. It's that this is what they have decided they're going to do when the patient is black. And it's not just the racist nurses and doctors. It's also the administrators and the lawmakers as well. How many times have we caught some white racist running for political office and it turned out they were a medical doctor? These murders aren't happening in a vacuum. It's happening because it's sanctioned and protected by the state. And in many cases, these racist physicians go from killing black patients in medical offices to killing black patients in political offices. But this incident with this Vaughn woman, that's not the reason that I made this the subject of this morning's briefing. There was another case far more egregious that will make your blood boil. Yes, it's going to be that kind of morning briefing. This was DeMarcus Page. He was only 2 years old. He was brought to Advent Health Ocala Hospital in March 1st, 2024. This is in Ron DeSantis' Florida. At the time, he was diagnosed with a virus and dangerously low levels of potassium. He was given intravenous fluids to help with his low electrolyte levels, and the next morning he was transferred to Shands Teaching Hospital and Clinics in Gainesville, Florida. He was then administered electrolyte replacement therapy, but the next day, a Dr. Jiabi Chen unconscionably ordered that the boy be given 10 times the level ordered the previous day, which had been calculated based on his size, weight, and that day's lab results. Chen errantly ordered the extremely high dosage, deleting a critical decimal point in the day's prior dosage of 1.5 millimoles, now ordering the liquid supplement to be given at 15 millimoles twice a day. This was on top of the 2 other forms of potassium that DeMarcus was already receiving through IV and Pedialyte. And before anyone tries to claim, well, this was just one negligent doctor, nobody else on the medical team or the pharmacist caught the error, despite a red flag warning in the hospital's pharmacy system that alerted them to the excessive dosage. So as you see, the doctor gave what she should have known was too high a dosage. But even the hospital's own pharmacy computer system alerted them that the dosage was too high, and yet this got overlooked by multiple people. On March 3rd, 2024, DeMarcus went into cardiac arrest caused by that overdose. But the malpractice didn't even stop there, because the staff bungled the response and carried out 2 to 3 failed attempts to intubate DeMarcus. And there were at least 20 minutes that passed since the code blue was called, during which time he remained severely deprived of oxygen. This led to the baby suffering a massive brain injury, forcing him to spend the next 2 weeks enduring a horrific and protracted hospital course on a ventilator with nothing but seizures going on before finally being taken off life support. Can you imagine what it must be like for that family to have brought their child in alive and then be in a situation where they had to say, "End this child's life"? His family is suing, but they shouldn't have to, because there's no reason that that child should be dead. Across the board, you had one reckless and malignant actor after the next. The wrong dosage prescribed, the pharmacy staff ignoring the computer warning, the child goes into cardiac arrest and they failed to intubate him, and their response was so slow that he suffered brain death from lack of oxygen. That Chen woman should be charged. All of them should be charged, because what happened to that baby wasn't just an error. It cost that child his life. People are supposed to go to prison when that happens. And before anyone tries to claim, well, that's just too unlikely, prosecutors never go after these medical practitioners. A few years ago, a white nurse in Tennessee.
And yeah, see? Now, if you recall, for those who've been long-time viewers, the seventh answer, she brought out some statistics on, what be transpiring, in LA hospitals, and all that. We brought out this, but we just, Smashing Idol, I told you it was going to be a hard watch, man. I told you. But this is being done intentionally, and to give it to you historically. If you believe the Bible and the written accounts, don't forget that during the time of our sojourn and then captivity in Egypt, more formally known as the land of Mizraim, don't forget, we now believe to be Ramses II. He put out an edict that all Israelite boys, okay, because there was a prophecy that from among us would come a savior who would turn out to be Moses. He said, from newborn to about 3 to 4 years old, kill the male children. Don't forget that. And so here it is now, with their numbers dwindling, with their mortality rates dropping, so much so that they're putting out laws to keep white women from having abortions. There are certain forces out here now, as we've shown, and now Professor Black Truth is unearthing, that are clearly killing our women or our children. See, we're not making this stuff up, man. And we do need to start taking things a lot more serious than what we have. And finally, there's a great many of us who are. Let's keep this energy going. Let's keep the video going. Seventh answer, as you're now tuning into, the conversation continues. Talking about what's on your mind. And we're talking about the MAGA, the Don, and the ugly Epstein files. Let's keep the energy going, seventh answer.
Whose name was ironically Redonda Vaught, very similar to that Vaughn heifer. This woman was convicted of criminally negligent homicide after giving an elderly patient the wrong medication that resulted in the patient's death. Now, the hospital's report to the medical examiner didn't mention that she gave the wrong medication. Instead, the hospital report told the medical examiner that the patient had died of natural causes. They didn't even make out a sentinel report. A sentinel report is supposed to be created whenever a patient safety event results in death, permanent, or severe temporary harm. And it's federally required, but it didn't happen in that case. Normally, these kind of things get swept under the rug, but in this case, amazingly, it didn't. Redonda was put on trial and given 3 years probation, which is a joke, but at least there was a trial and a conviction. But even this nothing burger was too much for the white media and even for the government, because the National Institutes of Health website republished an article about the Vaught case entitled Criminal Prosecution of Clinician Errors, a Setback to the Progress Towards Safe Hospital Work Environments. They actually had the nerve to republish that, and amazingly, somebody actually had the nerve to write it. So there's people apparently who think that holding medical murderers responsible for killing people is a setback of some sort. A setback to what? This is what somebody thinks makes for a safe environment, not punishing people like that? No, allowing these killers to remain on the loose, that's what makes hospitals deadly. But this is the kind of propaganda that the government signal boosts. They defend killers and criminals and then claim that punishing them makes you less safe. Kind of reminds you how the white media tried to spread hysteria after Judge Aaron Persky was successfully recalled and removed from office after he refused to punish Brock Turner. The white media said that that recall election would result in black defendants receiving harsher sentences because now judges would be terrified not to throw the book at somebody because of fear of public backlash. Of course, as I've documented for you over the years, that didn't happen at all. It was all about protecting white immunity from law. That's what the real problem was. And the same thing goes for the pathetic attempt to push hysteria about punishing medical malpractice. When someone's life and death is in your hands, or the life for your loved ones in their hands, it's not too much to ask that they pay attention. After all, these people love to brag that they're professionals. And in the case of that Vaughn degenerate in Dallas, to actually expect them to do their jobs. But you see that both the white media and the government are on the same page about covering for and protecting criminals. Ask yourself why. This wasn't just negligence. It's the typical contempt for black life that permeates the so-called healthcare industry like it does every other aspect of life in America. How many other black babies have died at that hospital and elsewhere from exactly this kind of contempt for black life? Even the babies aren't safe. What happened to DeMarcus Page makes me furious. And that racist puke in Dallas ignoring that black woman's suffering, and she's literally only minutes from giving birth, that should be a crime. This is why the black maternal and infant mortality rates are sky high, higher than any other group. It's not because of black women. It's not because of black children. It's because of anti-black racists in these hospitals. They always love to try to put it off on black people and say, well, you people are predisposed to this or predisposed to that. No, what we are predisposed to is becoming targets of racists who have been placed in every influential sector of the society. These are not failures of the system. This is the system working exactly the way it's designed. Black patients are systematically denied health care by these racist doctors and nurses. This is why both white and black patients go to the same hospitals, are seen by the same medical staff, but one of them gets treatment while the other one dies. Whether it be DeMarcus Page or Miss Jones, either of these atrocities should have been all over the news. Instead, they're ignored, except for social media. And as the black media, the incident in Dallas is particularly egregious because I've told you about how we have people who subscribe to my channel, who listen to me, people right here, people who live in Texas. And as I documented for you on this channel, their babies died because of a mess like this. And the system has been set up to deliberately deny black victims any legal recourse. The black maternal and infant mortality rates are sky high for a reason, and this is the reason why. White people tell us that these are all just a series of mistakes. No. When you keep repeating a mistake after being told about it, that's not a mistake anymore. That's a decision. And it's one that should carry consequences, severe consequences. Now, I know that my next remarks are going to kind of hit a little note, but I have to say it anyway. We have people who have pushed for laws regarding protecting black hairstyles, the so-called Crown Act. I don't have a problem with that, by the way. I'm fine with it. We know that these racist teachers in these schools mess with black children about their hair as a form of racial harassment. You had black lawmakers, particularly black female lawmakers, who were only too happy to jump in front of the cameras about that. Not facing harassment in school or the workplace over one's hair is absolutely valid. But don't you think that this is a far more important subject to have legislation about? This is why I can't stand these black politicians. And by the way, I don't mind that people call what happens to us medical apartheid, but I would say that it's kind of a misnomer. Apartheid would be if black patients got inferior health care. What happens to black people is we don't get health care at all. This is about denying Black people medical care based solely on race, and that's what makes it genocide, not apartheid. There's three things human beings absolutely must have to survive: food, shelter, and medicine. Because everyone has to eat, everyone needs shelter from the elements, and everyone gets sick. Deny people any one of those three things, and you've cut their lives short. And in the case of medical care, if they're denied medicine, they die instantly. Just out of curiosity, has even one Democrat brought this up? Even one? Has Kamala Harris ever mentioned it? Did Barack Obama ever campaign on it when he was talking about Obamacare? How about Bernie Sanders or
Okay,
Biden
now
or
hold on,
Jasmine Crockett
hold on.
or
Wait,
any
wait,
of
wait, wait,
them?
wait. Now this is
Even
where
one?
hold
You've
up, y'all,
got
hold
Black.
on. This is where I disagree with him. I'm going to disagree with him on that. I have to say that through Obamacare, through the Affordable Health Care Act, a lot of things did help a lot of Black folks, myself included. Also, when it comes to Kamala Harris, people give her a bum rap, but through Seventh Answer giving me some facts and everything else, a lot of things this woman did that, should be known for Black people, even though she did take a different direction, but still, I also don't want to attack women in the area of men, in the arena of men. That's why I do disagree with the professor on that issue. But as far as Bernie Sanders is concerned, yeah, that dude, man, he's bad news. But we have given you enough. You heard enough. The main thing we want to drive home to you all out there is that we're under attack. And this is not no make believe. And we urge you to go throughout the Lions Den archives, and look at all our previous episodes. And, although I don't know the name of the specific show, but we did cover this. We covered this 9 or more months ago, talking about, and we named places and we named statistics as well. But I just want to give you show you that there are other voices out there. Some things I agree with and some things I don't. But Professor Black Truth, he be bringing heat though. Ain't no doubt about it. So we're gonna drop that. You can what we don't do now. We steer clear of advertising other people and other sites only because we want to leave it up to the people when you deal with them or listen to them. Whether their body or politic or what they go into is your cup of tea. All right, we want to be careful because we don't want to say, you guys recommended this, that, and the third, and they turn out to be a real creep. We don't want that on our resume. But I'm just putting it out there. All right, so with that being said, we're going to continue on. And we're going to move on to another story. Again, I want to just take a detour, and this is just this particular story is a follow-up on the MK Ultra and all the other things that the Seventh Answer brought to us. And also our last conversation that we had regarding being careful who you are around, be watchful and vigilant. This story is very disturbing and everything else, but it's also just a proof of what I said at the top of this discussion about how, that white on white violence, European on European violence is real, super real. So you can drop this video when you're ready. Seventh Answer. We're going to move on. And let me just see who's talking real quick. Yeah, Smash United. Whoa, indeed. And I bet those are God-fearing Christians too. Yeah, they God-fearing Christians all right now. Ain't no freaking way, boy. I told you Smash United was going to be rough to watch. But this is what they do. Yeah, it had me hot too. And if you saw the episode where the Seventh Answer brought out some facts and figures, boy, you've been hot on that one too, Smash. Salaya Ben Yah, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for all y'all listening, as the conversation continues, look, you know, if you want to finish this video out, then by all means, I just want you to say, I just want you to get in and say that there's certain thing. I do disagree with him on the Barack Obama issue and Kamala Harris issue. And you can just let this video play out to us, and we're almost at the end. If you wish, seventh answer, go ahead. This DJ. All right. As we continue on, I'm gonna give you another story. We're gonna give you a quick story about this real deranged goober who killed his fellow coworker. But I want to, right now I'm awaiting seventh answer to bring up and cue the next video. But yeah, for all y'all out there, all you sisters out there, and you brothers, it's like this. Going forward, in your area of procreation, please start doing your due diligence of looking for a reputable hospital where black doctors are in sway, or midwifery, and making sure they're of your own stock, because again, we can no longer continue to trust our lives in the hands of people who are proven to be very open enemies. And that is just the brass tacks of it all. All right? And what I may do, no, not even may, we may just do a recap. All right? I'm going to actually make it my business to look up and go throughout the archives of the Lion's Den, in the conversation continues segments, and I'm going to look for that video. I'm going to look for it, and we're going to recap it. But I just want to bring this to your attention by way of Professor Black Truth, who has other hot topics he discusses. But still, we'll leave it to you all on who you like to listen to, who you want to watch. But black media, there's a lot of voices out there, a lot of talent out here. Okay? But we love when you come here to the Lion's Den, the social media truthality segment. And again, you need these truths to be put forth to you, because we can no longer rely on so-called mainstream media to tell our story, because they're not. They're going to tell a story. They're going to tell a lie or lies. Much of our black leadership is in the pockets of AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. So we know we can't trust them. A lot of them are bought, and a lot of them are sold, and they're on the coon brigade. And that's why you need mediums like this here to bring you the brass tacks truth, to bring you the real deal on what is transpiring throughout these Americas and the world abroad. Because much of the mainstream media, as you may or may not know, is corporate owned. But here, on the conversation continues, our daily bread is given to us by the Lord. And though what I do here with the seventh answer, it don't pay the rent, it don't pay the bills, still, this is a calling. Therefore, we're doing a civic and spiritual duty to be purveyors of information, dissemination of said information, to put you all in the knowing driver's seat, so that you can be able to make your own competent decisions on what direction you will go in life, as you're now being made fully knowledgeable, not just aware, but fully knowledgeable of what you're up against and what we're all contending with out here. Now, as always, we are strong advocates of freedom of speech, but responsible speech, and also we are strong advocates of mental health. And in these dark times, brothers and sisters, it is paramount that we keep our mental health, our spiritual health. Trust me on this. You don't want to lose it at any cost. That we keep ourselves up, keep our focus up, keep our mind state up, because there are a lot of bad elements out here. So much so that there are people out here using people in scientific experiments and programming them to be natural, not natural born, but natural created and natural based deleters of themselves and others. Or there are a lot of ticking time bombs. And see, we always getting bombarded with, oh, black people this, black people that, what we call projection and deflection. But this story here that I'm gonna touch on briefly. Again, it's a recap of what we talked about on our Sunday presentation about being sober, being vigilant, being aware of your surroundings and just be walking with a swivel head. And in your places of employment or wherever you may be, just be watchful. Because you never know who you are working alongside. You don't know their psych profile if they have one, or they may be walking around undiagnosed. But again, you have to be very careful. All right? And again, this involves a young lady who had her head, it's colorful. Let's say it involves a very unhappy white fellow who had access to a sledgehammer. And yeah, like Thor, I'm not trying to be a comedian, he used that said sledgehammer to unalive his co-worker. Now, I'm all about thou shalt not murder. And in this case, I just want to just put out to you all, this is a continued cautionary tale from the so-called elite of the white race to the small fries. The ticking time bombs, the adversarial and ruthlessness is coming out more and more. And look, again, this is not no racial attack. It's just calling what it is, the truth. And if anyone feels I'm wrong in what I'm saying, we always drop the link and we always welcome you to come in here and we can have a counterpoint discussion, or debate. But we prefer to use discussions, as Apostle Zaquan says so beautifully. But then again, what we discuss here and every topic that we covered, the seventh answer, are not debatable. They're not up for debate. What we're dealing with here is straight up either it's right or it's wrong. And if the information that we're presenting is right, what kind of fool would you be to go against what is right? Oh yeah, unless you're that fool that's being bought and paid for, and you're a paid agent to lie, to our people because you're benefiting from being a stooge. Or what is there to debate unless, oh yeah, you're a hater and you're looking to uproot a good thing that we present here week to week, day to day, second to second when we're on the air. We letting you know you're watching us and we're watching you. And if you're out there asking, are they talking about us? If you gotta ask, then yeah, you know we talking about you. You know we're talking to you. Okay? It's just that simple. And as the conversation continues, we're going to be going into again, stand by, y'all. Oh, we're going to definitely have to cover. Again, the MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein ugly that is going on in these not so United States of America. There's now a MAGA civil war transpiring. We have all types of division and derision going on. Good Christians are now being exposed for the Ku Klux Klan and racist skunks, creeps, and scumbags and hypocrites that they are. And the Lion's Den is one of the many mediums that you're all tuning into as we are those revelators. We are boldly, succinctly, and unapologetically taking on all adversaries of Christ, the Lord, and our people. And we're coming for anyone, foreign, but especially domestic. Because some of you out there among our people, man, some of y'all need to get your act together too, man. You're not worth a damn. And so we're coming for the underbelly of our people too. But what we're not going to do, what we won't do, however, is let anyone use the underbelly of our people to paint all of us as being out of order. We here on the Lion's Den, we are proudly nationalist racist, but we're not bigoted racist. Now some of you say, well, wait, Dark Storm. What is the difference between a nationalist racist and a bigoted racist? And I'll answer. The seventh answer and I, we're nationalist racist in that we're proud of our people. We are proud of our accomplishments. We are proud of the contributions that our people have put forth throughout the centuries in every empire, despite the fact we've served various captivities. But wherever we've touched down, we have contributed to the larger benefit and betterment of every society we have touched. America is no exception. So we're a nationalist racist, and that we're going to uplift all of our accomplishments in every field of academia, medicine, science, biography, geography, sports, music, and other arts and sciences. So we are nationalist racist, and that we're not going to let anyone come against our people and tell lies against our people. But we're not, however, bigoted racist. Now, what's the difference between a nationalist and a bigot? Now, when you take time out to look up the universally accepted definition of the word bigot, a bigot is that man and woman, that person or persons who are one-dimensional in their view, where they only see the bad, the downright despicable, and everybody else's race or people, but somehow overlook, somehow can't see all the wrong that they've done. See, to be bigoted just means to be biased. That's another way of saying being bigoted. See, although, and by that I mean, so to make it further, to expound further, yes, although the seventh answer are a nationalist racist, and we love our people, we're not bigoted that we're going to ignore the underbelly of our people who do things they have no business doing. They give us a black eye, but we're not going to walk around pointing at everybody else's people like some people do, and especially a certain people in this country, and pretend that we don't see what they're doing. So that's what I mean when I say that the seventh answer and I, we are nationalist racists and not bigoted racists. See, these bigoted racists, these Ku Klux Klanmen, these neo-Nazis, and all these so-called white supremacy groups, and even non-white supremacists who want to join the bigotry squad and come over here from India, China, and other nations and have the unintimated gall to want to try and point the finger at us as being what's wrong with America and society at large. When all the inventions they use are our inventions, when they've been allowed to come into our neighborhoods and set up shops and stores, and they wouldn't be worth a damn if we didn't frequent them. Mm-hmm. So that's what we mean. So when we are nationalists, that means we're not going to tolerate anyone lying on us. But we're not going to be bigoted nor biased. Our aim is to stomp out all bigotry and bias who tell dangerous lies and have told dangerous lies on our people. And we can't sit by and let that go. We're not going to sit by and let it slide. And especially in today's environment. So we going hard in the paint, and we are going to be merciless to anyone, but especially traitors of our race who are out here doing things, looking to undermine our ascension, whether it be in media, whether it be in science, academia, or as the future rulers and controllers of this earth and the new government that is going to be restructured and reset here on earth. That's right. We're not taking no more back seats to nobody. And we're not going to let no coon, gatekeeping, boule niggas, and I'm going to say it just like that, lead us back in no plantation. That's where we're at today. And as we continue on, and the conversation continues, we're going to continue to bring you the frequently accurate, correct truths. The facts, y'all. Nothing but the facts. So, as I said, we're getting ready to go into the DJT, this government, the things they're doing. if we don't get to the story that I want to get to next that I sent in the itinerary, that's fine. If the seventh answer wants to direct us directly into the subject matter, I'm ready to go with that too. Because this government is falling apart at the freaking seams. But now all the Republicans, now that forgive me, y'all, I keep forgetting this woman's name, but I'm gonna say Congresswoman 218. She was sworn in by Mike Johnson, and she put her signature to the paper, and now the Epstein files must be released. And Donald J. Trump and company, everybody's looking to scramble to save their butts. Their pink or rosy butts, I will add. But you can't get out of this. You can't scramble out of this. Look, all this treason that you've committed, you're not going to escape. All of this worldwide evil that you've all done, you're not going to escape no matter how much you try to revamp and restructure the history books. No, no, no. This divine judgment, you're not going to escape. Or you think you're going to fight God himself. That's how insane you are. You think you're science. You think you're astronomy. You think that your areas of metaphysics and other areas of science are going to make it where you can go into the spirit world itself and matter, antimatter, and you think you're going to fight God. You're out of your minds. But again, he can't come fast enough. I'm sick of, I'll make it clear, I am sick of waking up here. And I'm sick of all these thieves and these unclean, foul, filthy, hateful birds having rule and upsetting everyone's life. People who worked hard. And I'm gonna say this here: you baby boomer generation, some of you baby boomer generation are selfish as damn hell, man. And y'all sit by and letting these other thieving baby boomers and great generationalists rob our hard work blind. That's why this is why Generation X, we of Generation X and the millennial generation are not having it. That's why you're seeing the upheavals and rebellion. Because you guys, some of you, and I want to make sure I be careful when I say this, because see, I don't want to offend our senior citizen listeners, but some of y'all, you know what I'm saying is true. Some of them all-time donkey baby boomers need to go, man. All these Vietnam draft dodging punks that want to go starting something in Nigeria and Venezuela. They want to go start something in Iran and think that they're going to follow the blueprint that the warlord criminals of George W. Bush and Dick Cheney did with Iraq, sending hundreds of thousands of U.S. soldiers over there to die for nothing and coming back here for the most part getting nothing. No more days like that. And now That's why, again, 40 billion to Argentina, 9 billion to the Ukraine, 20 billion, and then wait, not hell, and another 280 billion, so a total of 300 billion to Israel and counting, not to mention the $170 billion given to ICE and all the other uncalculable millions that are being now mustered to try to mount up a war chest to again attack Venezuela and Nigeria. See, all these things that these pirates are financing coming out of our pockets. No, we can't. We cannot sit by and let this go down. And some of you of our elder generation, you need to get. Look, I'm sorry, but some of them old-time donkeys, you baby boomers, y'all failed us miserably. And that's why it's going to take a God of some such power to come here and put things in order. So now we can just get ready. Let's just get ready to go full steam ahead. And we're just going to get right into it. Again, the MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein ugly as the conversation continues. All videos and everything that we find on other public news outlets are for sole, again, analytical purposes and comparatives under the fair use laws and clause. And with that being said, let's go to work, Seventh Answer. Oh, let me give you a premise on what you're getting ready to watch. If this is the video,
and others
okay,
Are you
hold
still
on.
talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
would participate in
Seventh Answer,
hiding information about Epstein's grotesque activity.
I'm sorry, hon. Allow me to give a quick introduction. You're now looking at current head of the FBI, Kash Patel. And this video, I looked it up. Seventh Answer looked it over, agreed to put it on because it's, under our, free speech and what makes sense clause. Who is Kash Patel? Who is he? All right. I look at him as a DEI hire. But hey, what do I know? Let's run the video, Seventh Answer. Take a look at this, y'all.
Trump loyalist, self-styled deep state slayer, Benghazi exaggerator, and the only FBI director whose own base thinks his girlfriend is a Mossad honeypot.
Just that people are accusing you of sort of being the honeypot.
Today we're breaking down where he came from, how he rose, why he's so chaotic, and what he's actually trying to do with the FBI.
Why are you hiding, shielding, protecting pedophiles?
And yes, we're talking about the jet, the girlfriend, and the Epstein files.
Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
Because somehow they are all related.
Is the answer yes or no to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Origins of a self-styled warrior.
My father fled Idi Amin's genocidal dictatorship in Uganda, where 300,000 men, women, and children were killed based on their ethnicity.
I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians.
My mother is originally from Tanzania. She studied in India, as did my dad, and they were married there. They would later emigrate to New York, where I was born, and we were raised in a household of my father's 7 siblings, their spouses, and at least half a dozen children. That's the only way we knew how to do things at the time, in the 70s and 80s, the Indian way. But we would soon learn the American way.
Patel is a hardline critic of the Bureau who has called for shutting down the agency's Washington headquarters.
The fact is that I was a public defender. I was a national security prosecutor. I was a House Intelligence staffer. I was a deputy director of intelligence. I was a chief of staff to the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense. Those are just some of the jobs I held in my 16-year career. There was no loyalty then. There's no loyalty now to anything but the Constitution.
FBI Director Kash Patel faced rare intra-MAGA criticism.
So the Kash Patel criticism has been going on well before the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state.
This is the beginning of a lifelong pattern. The cash that he performs versus the cash the paperwork describes.
Hey everyone, in this guide, we're introducing our new AI indicator, which we developed in partnership with OpenAI. This is the first trading indicator of its kind using artificial intelligence to analyze multiple market factors, save you countless hours of market research, and help you conduct professional grade analysis on your own. Now, let's dive into the guide. As many of you already know, earlier this year, TradingView officially partnered with OpenAI, the creators of the widely known ChatGPT technology.
How to fail up in Washington. In 2017, Kash Patel joins Devin Nunes on the House Intelligence Committee right as the Russia investigation is exploding. He pushes to investigate work he wasn't assigned. He rewrites memos behind the scenes. His breakout moment is authoring the Nunes memo, a document accusing the FBI of abusing surveillance powers in its Russia probe. Intelligence officials said it was completely misleading.
There are a number of things that are directly misleading in the Republican memo. There's a suggestion, for example, that a Yahoo News article was used to corroborate Steele when Steele was the source of the article. That's not at all how the article was used in the application.
But Trump loves it. Fox News treats Kash like a folk hero. He moves to the National Security Council, then becomes Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence back in early 2020. By November of that year, he's Chief of Staff to Acting Defense Secretary Chris Miller. Pentagon staffers panic. Patel sees destiny. He also writes Government Gangsters, a full-blown enemies list of deep state operatives that he plans to bring down. Senator Dick Durbin warned that Patel is dangerous, inexperienced, and dishonest. He then says Patel plans to use the FBI to come after the president's enemies. To Trump, that is a great recommendation, and he decides, let's make this guy the head of the FBI.
The Senate narrowly confirmed Kash Patel to be the next FBI director. FBI Director Kash Patel.
Director Kash Patel.
What is it like to be the head of the FBI? How weird is that?
It's completely effing wild.
The job versus the man. Traditionally, the FBI director is boring, stable, politically neutral, semi-allergic to press conferences. Kash is, well, none of those things. The job is to oversee counterterrorism, counterintelligence, cybercrime, civil rights enforcement, public corruption, and also legal attaches in over 60 countries. It's a 10-year appointment meant to survive different administrations. They are not supposed to purge political opponents, publicly discuss active cases, use bureau resources for personal errands, wage ideological revenge tours. I think we can safely say that Kash does all of those things. So naturally, because the world doesn't make any sense, Trump gave the job to the guy who promises revenge, I guess. Kash Patel enters the FBI like a man hired to smash furniture. Dozens of agents are reassigned or fired. Some are fired, rehired, then fired again. Officers are reorganized along loyalty lines. Even the FBI Agents Association, which never publicly says anything about its own director, called Kash unprecedented, erratic, and deeply concerning. But somehow, the hypocrisy of Kash Patel really only gets worse.
Now, in other words, hear what they're saying, right? This Kash Patel dude is just proving and shaping up to be a Donald Trump loyalist, okay? At the same time, what they're also saying is here, just like we the people have individuals in the government that we don't know anything about, We live in neighborhoods and we don't have no idea who's policing us. Here you have someone who's been made the head of the FBI and nobody don't know who in the hell he is. And they say the eyes are the window to the soul, right? When I look in that dude's eyes, all I see is crazy. And we've been talking about MK. I shouldn't use the word crazy, but we've been talking about MK Ultra, mind control, people being groomed from mental institutions and stuff. This dude don't look right. But what she's saying is there are a great many people, even within the FBI. Now think about that for a second. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is their full name. And nobody has done an investigation to know who in the hell is the current head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If that don't spell how much in trouble we've been in this country in the last 25 years, I don't know what does. Run the video, Seventh Answer.
Just from here, if you can believe. FBI Air, the Cash Patel Rewards Program. Nothing captures his self-mythology better than his use of the FBI jet. For context, the Bureau's $60 million Gulfstream exists for the following purposes: secure national security emergencies, crisis sites, classified intel movement. It is not supposed to be a relationship maintenance tool, and yet Cash Patel uses it like an Uber. A Wall Street Journal investigation revealed he repeatedly took the FBI to Las Vegas,
Seventh Answer.
Nashville, to see his girlfriend, a Texas hunting ranch.
So you got Cash Patel, you got the FBI director. He living, for all y'all who have been longtime wrestling fans, you got Cash Patel here. He up here living the Ric Flair jet plane flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, hell raising son of a gun. Seeing all the ladies too. Woo! We are in trouble, man. We are in deep trouble. Let's keep the energy going, Seventh Answer.
And a Penn State wrestling event where his girlfriend sang. People magazine confirmed he used the FBI jet to visit her, despite previously attacking Chris Rye for similar travel for like the same thing. Agents who questioned this travel found themselves sidelined or fired. A former FBI official described Patel's leadership as reckless, chaotic, and absurdly political. This is the Cash pattern. He sees the heroic movie version of himself. The evidence shows a useless guy abusing the company card. The man who can't stop announcing things. Cash Patel sees himself as a tell-it-like-it-is lawman, but in practice, he talks too early.
I assume you can release it, is that right?
We have a current subpoena and we're working with Congress to provide it.
Too loudly.
Mr. Patel,
and they determined, not me, they determined that information.
And without the facts. Let us revisit some of his greatest hits. The Halloween fiasco. Cash announces that the FBI foiled a major Halloween terror plot in Michigan, except no arrests, no charges, no evidence released whatsoever. Defense lawyers said the threat was wildly overstated. The Charlie Kirk situation. After Charlie Kirk's death, Patel declares a suspect is already in custody. He wasn't. Even MAGA influencers dragged him for utter incompetence. The ATF disaster. Trump briefly makes Cash Patel acting director of the ATF, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive. Within days, the following things happen.
Starting a fashion brand shouldn't feel impossible. Other print
Director. The staff revolt. The administration moves the entire ATF under the Defense Department and replaces Patel with the Army Secretary. It's main character syndrome with like a clearance level. It's also just like really embarrassing for him, honestly. What can you do? Romance in the age of conspiracy. Now let's talk about his girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, because this is my favorite subplot and it tells you everything about the universe Kash Patel thinks he lives in. She is a 26-year-old country singer, conservative personality in a way, and a former Capitol Hill press secretary. The two reportedly met at a conservative musical showcase in Nashville back in 2023. She is often referred to as a country music star.
Daddy's words and mama's hands, true friends who really know who I am.
To Kash Patel, dating a younger, glamorous singer is proof that he's powerful and charismatic, like he thinks he is. To his base, though, there's only one reasonable explanation. She must be a Mossad agent. MAGA influencers accuse her of being a honeypot sent by Israeli intelligence. She sued them all for defamation, stating, "I am not Israeli. I am not a spy. I have never been to Israel." She's filed multiple $5 million lawsuits against conservative influencers like Elijah Schaffer and Sam Parker. And it's funny, not cruel, not petty. It is just narratively really funny. Patel thinks he's living in the action hero moment where he gets the girl, but even his own political tribe looked at the relationship and said, no way she likes him for him. She must be espionage. Oh, how do you recover from that? That is Pete Patel. He thinks
so let's get it to him
everyone else thinks he's been.
Now, come on now. We all know. Look, you don't judge a book by its cover, but come on now. Like Cat Williams told us, y'all, in Hollywood, most of the men actors, if they don't go, homogenized like milk, they get the package. That particular same looking woman, same house setup or whatever, and what have you. It's a package that they all get. A certain type of woman that looks a certain kind of way. All right? That goes on in every aspect. She was given to him. She was a gift. The same way Melania was the Trump. The same thing going on with him. Look at her and look at him. You see it. And yes, Smash, I agree. If we're not in the border of wickedness, then we don't know what the hell we going. We are indeed the border of wickedness, Smash Naito. Ain't no doubt about it. Let's just finish this out.
Yeah, no, I like the first idea of her being there because they paid him to have her up under the wings. Remember, we just did a video showing you that.
But hold on, you beat me to it. I was getting ready to say, hold up, you brought out and exposed all that so much so it blew my damn mind with AIPAC and her. So yeah, right. she's an Israeli package.
Exactly.
Shit,
she ain't gotta be out. She ain't gotta be from out there. They got they got them out here, willing to take that bag. And mind you, she's in the music industry. They're controlling all of that. Stop playing.
Well, hold up, Seventh Answer. Look, with you're the one who really been blowing the lid off some of the stuff that we discussing now. What if she might be one of the Epstein damn girls?
Correct.
I'm just saying. Shit. Anyway, let's just keep going.
There's a new boss in town. That's the reason why they don't want to open this file, because there's a new boss. His legacy live on through somebody.
I agree. So let's keep that energy going as the conversation continues, you all.
Catfish by Tel Aviv. The Epstein Files.
Let's just get to it because I know it's on people's minds. Epstein, right?
For years, Kash Patel ran around everywhere telling right-wing media that the Epstein case went way deeper. He also hinted that there were truckloads of undisclosed files.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is that. I mean, there's.
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
Then he became FBI director, the one person who could actually release them, and suddenly he's changed his mind. Can't imagine why. Under oath, he says that there is no credible information that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else.
Himself, there is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Right. He claims the FBI has already released all credible information we are legally permitted to provide. Victims, advocates, lawyers, and analysts say this is misleading, or worse, a blatant and honestly poorly executed cover-up. His biggest promise became his biggest retreat. If this video made Kash Patel make a little more sense, or honestly less, then hit subscribe, because we're here 5 days a week, all the time, making videos.
Yeah. So translation, who in the hell is Kash Patel? Who are these individuals yesterday and today that we have been giving power to govern over us and control the economy, the military, and all other aspects of our lives, making us absolutely miserable? Who are these people? This is what we now are asking. This is that generation that is now going to take control. We're not asking. It's going to be progressive. It's going to be gradual. It's going to be a spiritual shift. And the spiritual shift is already happening. And all these corrupt skunks and scumbags and satanic puppets and minions, your time is up. The party's over. And it's not a threat. This is a spiritual guarantee and promise. It's been slow brewing. And again, I'm going to keep on saying, I'm sick of waking up here to this. And if there is indeed a God and his intent is to bring this place to an end, let it be done, please. I'm barely hanging on. And I'm not the only one who feels this way. But all these freaks and perverts and like I just said, damn demons walking with earthly feet have got to go. And oh yeah, normally I want to keep women out of the line of fire here on the conversation continues. We want to go after the men, but to all of our celebrities, black celebrities in particular, some of you need to make up your mind on what direction you're gonna go in. Okay? Some of you really need to recognize that you're really too good of a person to continue to compromise who you are and who you should be. And so this message is going to go out to the beautiful Onika Tanya Mirage Petty. We all know her as Nicki Minaj. Onika, Miss Petty, this is a sincere and heartfelt message to you. I know that you're going to be upcoming. If you haven't done it already, you're going to be a supposed keynote speaker at the United Nations, and you're going to be an advocate of the current presidential administration and their plans to launch a war in Nigeria. You are supposedly an advocate of that, and you're going to be a keynote speaker to address the United Nations. Whether or not this will be televised, I don't know. I'm just going to say, Miss Minaj, Miss Petty, Mrs. Petty. If you should be blessed and get the privilege of being able to hear this broadcast, I'm going to appeal to you to really reconsider. I know you may have to follow obligations, but this is where looking yourself in the mirror, as Michael Jackson sang so many years ago, that man in the mirror, or in your case, that woman in the mirror, and really reconsider. I'm going to forego the fact, I will forego that I know that you are clearly, politically, and socially naive about the goings-ons of what's been transpiring in Nigeria. I'm going to forego, and forego means, in other words, saying forgiving. I'm going to forgive the fact that you have been willfully ignorant of what has transpired in this country to Black Americans. I know you're out of Trinidad, so your loyalties may not lie to the Black American struggle, as some of you of our West Indian culture tend to be funny style in that area. But I'm going to tell you right now, Miss Petty, Mrs. Petty, Onika, you really should reconsider, because America is not in any moral position whatsoever to stand before the United Nations and talk about they want to go into Nigeria to rescue Christians who are being killed in Nigeria. They're not in any, they've never been in any moral position ever to talk about any other nation and how they treat their citizenry. And you have no idea the body of politics of what has been transpiring in Nigeria, but most notably, the oil-rich Nigeria that, along with other countries, don't want the American dollar, and America doesn't want to pay for the oil, and they want to gangster the oil from both Nigeria and Venezuela. And you, Mrs. Petty, Onika Petty, Nicki Minaj, you want to now advocate and campaign for the people of Nigeria, or a war to be commenced against Nigeria for they're killing Christians, and yet here it is, you can't speak out against the murders and the killings that are going on of foundation of Black Americans, even some of you, your fellow Caribbean Americans here in this country. Are you serious right now? And I'm going to say this, not to attack you on a personal level, sister, but just to give you a reminder of who you are going to allow your intellectual acuities to be used to advocate for. You need to do a serious look at America and the killing of Black Christians in this country yesterday and to damn day. You need to look at some of these white pastors who we have covered on this show, speaking the abominations and the outright calling and advocacy of killing Black men and women and children in this country. So you, my dear, all right, my dear Onika Tanya Petty, you really need to give reconsideration. Your people, if they're listening to this broadcast, should do some serious reconsideration of you getting up here and going to give a speech before the UN on an issue that you know nothing about. All right, seriously. Here it is, my love. You were born, all right? I know you're an 80s baby. Ain't no getting around. I know that you're an 80s baby. So when you were born, the issues concerning Nigeria way back then and before I was born, because I'm a 60s, well, late 60s, I'm a 1968 baby. The body of politic, all of the long-standing gangsterism that America wanted to do on a great many African nations and Spanish nations for their resources has been in play because America don't never want to pay for anything. All they're good at is stealing. And now you're going to get up here and with a president and advocate for a president who's up on charges right now of being in cahoots with a supposedly dead child human trafficker. Videos showing the same president getting down and dirty and parties with girls underage. Some of those same girls could be a part of his administration he's giving jobs to. We showed a picture of that concerning Pam Bondi. We'll say alleged, though, for sake of, following formalities. And this is who you're going to get up before the United Nations and advocate for? Have you taken time out to go to Nigeria and sit down with the leaders and find out the particulars of those supposed killing of Christians? Have you? Because after all, as the old adage goes, there are two sides to every story. And only one truth and on either side. But you're passing judgment on an issue without knowing, and here you are absolutely politically naive to the social and economic, and I'm going to add spiritual ramifications of that situation. Miss Onika Tanya Petty, better known under your stage persona, Nicki Minaj. So, I won't speak for the seventh answer on this one here, but I will say this here. Speaking to you as a brother would be to a sister, a man who loves his woman. I'll make it personal. A man who loves his wife. I really think you need, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to go so far as to what Pontius Pilate's wife, from a biblical standpoint, told him in reference to Christ. And that's this it. Yo, you really need to back up off that man in that situation and mind your business. And in the area of Nigeria, and in reference to the Republican Party and some of its actions in your homeland of Trinidad, Sister Petty, you really need to reconsider this getting up before the United Nations and having your persona endorse a matter, again, that you, as an 80s baby, have no clue about. And with that, we're going to continue on as the conversation continues. We're going to continue to address the MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein ugly. Take it away, seventh answer. Fair use, y'all. Fair use.
And one reason we know that is because the president can order these files to be released. The president doesn't want these files out. And one reason we know that is because the president can order these files to be released right now. It's very clear that the Department of Justice acts as Donald Trump's lapdog. He says jump, they say how high, and they've done everything of his bidding. He could just tell the Attorney General to release the files, and she would do it. So the fact that he hasn't done that shows that he is just playing a game. He doesn't really want these files to be released. And the other reason that the discharge petition succeeded and that Speaker Johnson and the president appear to have reversed is because Republicans got their asses kicked earlier this month in the elections. Democrats didn't just win in blue states like Virginia and California and New Jersey. Democrats won in every state in which there was an election. Georgia, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Maine, and the Republicans have noticed. And now you see more Republicans standing up to Donald Trump, who is now a weight and anchor on the Republican Party. And you see Republicans showing more courage to stand up for the American people to finally do the right thing. The president doesn't want these files.
President's position, while admitting he believed Trump had committed impeachable offences for inciting last week's mob, he suggested resignation was the only realistic option for Trump's departure before his term ends on January 20.
Okay. So Capitol Hill is absolutely erupting right now. And I'm not using that word lightly. We're talking about full-blown chaos in Congress. As lawmakers, both Democrats and some Republicans, are publicly demanding that President Trump either resign or face impeachment. Yeah, you heard that right. Resign or face impeachment. Those are the only two options they're giving him. This isn't some fringe group of never-Trumpers making noise. This is over 120 House members and at least 7 senators who have come out and said Trump needs to go. They're citing abuse of power, unauthorized military operations, defiance of court rulings, the ongoing government shutdown chaos, all of it. And they're saying enough is enough. Trump has crossed too many lines. He's violated too many constitutional norms, and he needs to be removed from office one way or another. This is an unprecedented moment in American politics because we're watching a president's own party, or at least parts of it, turn against him in real time. And the stakes couldn't be higher because if Congress actually moves forward with impeachment, or if enough pressure builds for Trump to resign, We're talking about a constitutional crisis that makes everything we've seen so far look like child's play. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay, just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
So the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, you know, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just know how to stop crime.
Now, let me give you some context here, because this didn't just happen overnight. The calls for Trump's resignation or impeachment have been building for weeks, but they reached a fever pitch after a series of explosive allegations came to light. We're talking about reports of unauthorized drone strikes, military operations that Trump allegedly ordered without proper authorization, violations of constitutional limits on executive power. And all of this is happening while the government remains shut down, with millions of federal workers still not getting paid. And Trump continues to defy court rulings and push for even more executive authority. It's like watching a slow motion train wreck. And now Congress is finally saying we have to do something about this. We can't just sit here and watch the president operate outside the bounds of the law. So they're demanding action, immediate action, and they're not backing down. One of the most striking moments came from
the president's position. While
they are flat out publicizing what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. They're trying to create seats based on race, and they can't do it. And we're going to hold them accountable just like any other state. I mean, they've very publicly said, Sean, what they're trying to do, and it's illegal gerrymandering. They cannot do it. So yeah, we sued them today. We're going to continue suing California until they start complying with the laws of our country. They are flat out publicizing what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. They're trying.
Holy shit, y'all. Representative Al Green just introduced House Resolution 415 to impeach DJT, and I took a look at it so you don't have to. Here are all the main takeaways. Okay, so the overarching theme of HR 415 is that Trump essentially abused his presidential power to act as a self-serving authoritarian instead of a leader that is beholden to the Constitution, with the specific legal and constitutional violations made by Trump being things like violating due process, defying judges, threatening judges, and overall just undermining democratic institutions. So in essence, the one formal article of impeachment is about him being an authoritarian and abusing his overall presidential power. And then those things that I just listed are like the mechanisms through which he did that. So even though that, you know, kind of sounds like it's all over the place, there is one thing that is kind of central to all of this and ties it all together, which is his illegal deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and then the subsequent defiance of multiple court orders saying he needed to be returned, with one of those orders being from the Supreme Court. It was the one that was 9-0, remember? All of these courts and all of the holy shit, y'all, Representative
Mamdani is a charismatic swindler. I mean, you gotta hand it to him. Like he can light up a stage. But he has just been a swindler his entire life.
What else has he done that makes him a swindler?
Well, I guess if you say what I mean, if you say to any audience whatever that audience wants to hear, instead of having a consistent message, I would say that is a swindly thing to do. Yeah.
Okay, for y'all. Okay, let me fill them in real quick. Seventh answer. You're looking at Elon Musk.
But he is charismatic.
Okay, and Elon Musk is talking about the mayor-elect here in New York City, Zoran Mamdani. That's who. When he says Mamdani, that's who he's talking about. But Mr. Mamdani, along with the City Council, I think Brooklyn attorney Letitia James and a few others want to come at the Donald Trump for his exploits here in New York City with a vengeance. And you got Elon Musk condemning Mr. Mamdani. talk about the kettle, the pot calling the kettle black. So let the energy let's keep the energy going. Seventh answer. I just want to finish.
Yeah, I just found out that he be on ketamine. And if you know what that is, this dude is on heavy narcotics.
Who's that?
Elon.
What is that he's on?
Ketamine. It's like a anesthesia drug, but they use it, and you should see how they be, man, how it do them. And he talking about he's not addicted to it, but some of them give it to people that have anxiety. They give it to people that have like mental illness.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Got you.
Yeah, you see it. They get doses and all kinds of things.
Well, all right, you all. Thank you for that information, seventh answer. As we continue on.
Donnie is a charismatic swindler. I mean,
we need to hold all men in power accountable for the things that they have done against women, children, and men in the past. I talked about Clarence Thomas. I talked about Kavanaugh. Never in my wildest dreams, when I made that post, did I believe that we would find evidence within those files that would point to the island guy having something to do with Kavanaugh. But here we are today, and apparently the island man had a very big hand in making sure that Kavanaugh would sit on that bench. You can't make this shit up, honey. I just want to remind everybody that Kavanaugh used to work for who? Ken Starr. Who is Ken Starr? How close is Ken Starr to Daddy? How close is Ken Starr to the island guy? Oh my, they are all intertwined. It's time to remove Kavanaugh from the bench, just like it's time to remove the orange dude. We need to hold all men.
I'm not holding on. Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're
No,
throwing out
let me
theology,
help
and I'm
you
a
all.
Christian. I am allowed to weigh in on this.
I'm sorry for the
We are
answer.
commanded as Christians to support the government.
If you don't know who she's talking about, she is talking about Brett Kavanaugh, who's the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of these United States. Look up Brett Kavanaugh, and you'll see why she says what she says about him. That's when she said Kavanaugh. Again, Brett Kavanaugh, Associate Judge on the United States Supreme Court. Let's keep the energy going.
Of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
And I'm really happy he said that, because when you hear it, you realize how ridiculous it sounds. Even if you're not following the theology, if you don't identify as a Christian, you realize that you have a senator that is sitting across saying that his number one reason, he didn't say one of the reasons, said my number one reason that I support Israel is because the Bible commands me to do so. And just so you know, the Bible does not command, and this is what Tucker Carlson is getting to in that clip, it absolutely does not command you to support the modern state of Israel. Like Genesis is pointing to the modern.
I'm not holding on. Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the
God's
descendants of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the
All right,
same as
all
the
right, all
country
right.
run by Benjamin?
Okay. Hold on, y'all. This is why Tucker Carlson. You're looking at Tucker Carlson challenging Senator Ted Cruz, who you just heard Senator Ted Cruz lie through his goddamn teeth, talking about the current state of Israel
They
and the
believe
nation of
that.
Israel.
They believe that, and that's why I made that documentary. That's why I made them songs, because they believe that.
They believe that bullshit. I'm gonna call them. They believe. This is what happens when you start lying. It's an old saying that go: when you lie so much, you'll start to believe your own bullshit. Now I had to go hard body. Excuse me, but let me just call it what it is. He knows damn well. That's why Tucker Carlson said, "Wait, you talking about the political established Israel?" You heard he said that deliberately, politically established. We all know that Netanyahu and all that whole bunch were transplants from Europe. And in 1948, you had two black men, Charles White and Ralph Bunche, who established and advocated for the state of Israel by going to all the black leadership of that time to say, allow them to come into Israel. How ironic. You had then President of Egypt, Gamal Nasser, saying he, along with his delegation, would never support this whole state of Israel, when they said, we all know that when the nation of Israel left the region, they left black. Who are these people coming back here, white, talking about the state of Israel? But see, again, when you start lying and you lie so much, there is that danger of the liar believing his or her own bullshit. And this is why now they're coming against Tucker Carlson, because he's calling them on it. And Ted Cruz just lied through his teeth. I don't mean to cut loose, but that just stuck in my craw. And yes, Seventh Answer, you just gave us a full documentary. And I'm going to say to you all out there, you see why you're blessed to have the Lion's Den in full effect? You see why you are blessed to have some liberated moderators who are sworn to cut down and destroy all these lies? Let's keep the energy going, Seventh Answer.
Me, and she says she is retired in Greensboro, North Carolina. She is a registered Republican all her life. She voted for you 3 different times, but she is not happy about how her prices have not come down that she sees. And she said this, quote, I want the Republicans to keep control of Congress in 2026, but something has to be done fast. I don't see the best economy right now. Wall Street numbers do not reflect my Main Street money. Please do something, President Trump. So I guess what do you say to Regina and people like her?
Well, I do say this, beef we have to get down. I think of groceries, it's an old-fashioned word, but it's a beautiful word. Beef we have to get down, but we've got prices way down.
Regina Foley messaged me, and she says she is retired in Greensboro, North Carolina. She is a registered Republican all her life. She voted for you 3 different times, but she is not happy about how her prices have not come down that she sees. And she said this, quote, I want the Republicans to keep control of Congress in 2026, but something has to be done fast. I don't see the best economy right now. Wall Street numbers do not reflect my Main Street money. Please do something, President Trump. So I guess what do you say to Regina and people like her?
Well, I do say this: beef we have to get down. I think of groceries. You know, it's an old-fashioned word, but it's a beautiful word. Beef we have to get down, but we've got prices way down.
Regina.
A video went viral after an employee of the Denver Department of Public Health and Environment poured bleach into a taco vendor's food. According to the DDPHE, their investigation of Tacos to Colorado found the vendor was using a garbage can of dirty water as a hand washing station and keeping meats at 54 degrees and 82 degrees instead of the required 135 degrees. They also claimed that the food vendor had raw meat in cardboard boxes sitting out on a table instead of in refrigerated storage. The food stand's owner, Garcia Barrientos, claims that the department has never contacted him prior and that when they showed up, they were not in IDs or badges. However, the video does show that they are in DDPHE labeled shirts with identification on lanyards. TMZ spoke with a City and County of Denver spokesperson who said, over the past several weeks, DDPHE has been closely monitoring Colorado due to serious public health concerns. The vendor has been operating without a required business license and has repeatedly failed to follow essential food safety practices. They also say they were forced to destroy the food on site because the vendor did not have a dumpster. And the volume of the food made it hard for them to quickly remove it themselves.
Regina Foley messaged me, and she says she is retired in Greensboro, North Carolina.
So, as you all noticed tonight, since the discharge petition received the 218th signature, we brought it up on unanimous consent, and that would, as you know, make it, we get it through the process immediately. The Democrats, shockingly, opposed it.
So the Republicans want you to believe that Democrats oppose releasing the Epstein files now. No, that's not what they oppose. They oppose unanimous consent. You see, Republicans wanted to use unanimous consent so there would be no record of a vote. It's not a public vote. They just call for unanimous consent. If nobody objects, it passes. There's no vote. Democrats want a public vote of every member on the record. And Republicans don't, because they don't want to deal with the wrath of Donald Trump. So there's still going to be a vote for sure, but it will be public and it will be on the record. Thanks. Oh, this email.
And by the way, not the easiest test. The first few questions are pretty easy. Once you get into the middle, it gets a little trickier. And there aren't a lot of people in this room that would get every single question right.
And we'll be doing this exact test in just a moment. Yep. Now, here's the clip from this week.
Yeah, the famous one, yeah.
The one from this week where he goes after AOC and Jasmine Crockett specifically.
Oh, I didn't hear this part.
They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. Those are very hard. They're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests. Let AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump. I don't think Jasmine, the first couple of questions are easy, a tiger, an elephant, a giraffe, you know. When you get up to about 5 or 6, and then when you get up to 10 and 20 and 25, they couldn't come close to answering any of those questions.
So let's find out how difficult this test really is.
Am I smarter than President Trump?
And so we're going to get right into the testing.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to cheat.
So yes,
you got to be a good proctor. You can't let me cheat.
Absolutely, we won't. Now, what this examination is called is a Montreal Cognitive Assessment. Okay.
Yep.
That's the name of it. So this is going to be a series of questions that I'm going to be asking you, and you're just going to respond, or you're going to follow the instructions that I give to you.
Yeah.
So the first question, I'm going to need you to take this pen.
Is this an IQ test, or is it a different?
This is the test that Trump has been administered every time that he's claiming is his IQ / aptitude test / cognitive test. So I just need you for this first portion.
Yeah.
I just need you to continue to draw these lines in order.
Oh, as this diagram insinuates. So
hold on.
Yeah. So it's 1A,
just draw it.
B, and then 3, 3C, 4D, 5E.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Am I keeping the pen?
Hold on to that pen because
Thank
you're going to
you.
need that for
Holy smokes.
the next question.
Thank you.
So I just need you again in this empty space. In this empty space under here, I just need you to copy this drawing of a bed.
Copy the drawing of a bed.
As best as you can. It doesn't matter if you're not an artist.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Ugh.
And by the way, not the
Okay, in this video, Vice President J.D. Vance does something that a lot of Republican and Democratic politicians do a lot in arguments. And low-key, your boyfriend or your girlfriend might be doing it too when y'all argue. They're called logical fallacies, and if you can read through them and dismantle them, you can dismantle pretty much any argument. So I'm gonna help you out.
The White House border czar Tom Homan was recorded on an FBI surveillance tape in September 2024, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money or give it back?
Okay, hold up. What did George just ask him? What were the actual words he asked him? Did he keep the money or did he give it back?
George, you've covered the story ad nauseum. Tom Homan did not take a bribe. It's a ridiculous smear. And
okay, stop right there. George didn't ask him, did he take a bribe? George asked him, did he keep the money that he was recorded being given? This is called a straw man. It's the most popular out of the logical fallacies. It's when someone changes your argument or reframes your question so that they can make it easier to beat. A girl says, you've been texting Sarah a lot lately. The guy says, so I can't have any female friends? That's not what she said. You changed your argument to make it easier to beat.
I think it's really preposterous. I know Tom. I think that he's a good man. He gets death threats. He gets attacked.
Stop right there. The name of this fallacy is appeal to emotion. It's when you try to manipulate an emotional response instead of engaging with the components of an argument. Now, it does not mean, to be clear, it does not mean emotions have no place in arguments. They absolutely do. It becomes a fallacy when you use emotions to replace reasoning. So Tom Homan getting death threats has nothing to do with whether or not he kept the $50,000 that he was recorded being given.
Wait, you said he didn't take a bribe, but I'm not sure you answered the question. Are you saying that he did not accept the $50,000?
Good.
I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about.
Okay, this is called an ad hominem. It's when somebody attacks the person that's making the claim instead of attacking the claim itself. The attack is intended to create doubt in a person's trustworthiness so that the audience that's listening dismisses the person's argument, even if the argument is valid.
Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. We're focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling.
This is called a false dichotomy, and it implies that you must choose one thing or another to focus on, and that both can't be important. And that by focusing on one, you're saying that the other one is not that important. It can also be considered a red herring, which is when somebody brings up a completely unrelated topic and they win on that topic instead of the topic you're talking about.
Going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Hope this helps. Okay, in this video, Vice President J.D. Vance does something that a lot of Republican and Democratic politicians do a lot in arguments.
This is real journalism.
Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you?
The journalist she's talking about is Jamal Khashoggi. He went to the Saudi consulate in Turkey and was ambushed, strangled, and he was dismembered. The Turkish government had bugged the Saudi embassy, so they caught it all on audio recording. She also mentions that 9/11 families are furious that the leader of Saudi Arabia is there in the Oval Office. That's because the 9/11 families are suing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. When Saudi Arabia tried to have the case dismissed in court, the judge even said that there was reasonable evidence to say that 2 of their citizens were sent by the government to assist the hijackers on 9/11. But of course, we don't have a real president, so this is how he responds.
Who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll
That's what we get. This is real journalism.
Yeah. See, timing is everything. Sorry about that, y'all. But I'm back. Okay, see? We get the evidence. We produce our cause. And as you can see, this is why the good, the MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein ugly is tonight's gist of conversation. You notice how they all became so adversarial and insulting and disrespectful? See, whenever someone does that, that means you got them. Whenever you're having a discussion, debate, however you want to, and you hit a person with counterpoints that they can't answer, and they become all adversarial and disrespectful, that means you have them. All right, and they lack the spiritual, emotional, and intellectual acuity to be able to give you a counterpoint and counter answer. Let's keep the energy going as the conversation continues, y'all.
These questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected. Ask.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. You're going to psych. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
All right, stop.
Andrew Westman. All these guys were friends.
Now, hold up. You know how we know that the president is lying right about now? Because the seventh answer on previous episodes of the conversation continues brought out some hard evidence. Like I said, they even had my jaw dropping of a very partying, having a good time with young girls all around, with Jeffrey Epstein palling all in his circle with Donald J. Trump. This nigga, he's a liar. You see how easy they lie? What a liar. And all y'all who seen those episodes, they just go back 3 or 4 shows and you'll see it for yourself. Oh man. And this is why people are coming for them now. Oh, anyway, moving on. Let the tape play. Seventh answer.
You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me, but he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong.
Mr. President, why wait for
the release of the Epstein files, the vote to release those files? You are on the side of releasing them, and you're on that side despite President Trump saying that.
Seventh answer. Please tell me I did not just hear that man say that the Epstein files
Yeah.
I know I didn't just hear him say that.
Yeah, you did.
With all the information that you divulged and uncovered, and then I came in chiming in, okay.
I mean,
And
it's all over the internet, you
this
know.
motherfucker, yo, the delusion is strong with
But then
this
to
one.
even say that about the victims, real victims, and just brush it off like as if it's not a real story on, you know what I mean? Even if you're not in there, you know, you built your campaign off of saying, I'm going to release these files. So when you got up in there, you just was on some bull crap. So at the end of the day, you have grown followers, people that are victims, people who are, you know, on this, and then you let them down, and then you saying it's all a hoax. Like, come on now, let's be real.
A Democratic hoax. No, look, Democrats are not clearing this, but come on, man, this is all Republican, bro. He really tried it.
Well, here go a Republican right here that turned against him. His main side chick.
Yeah, but she turned against him for a reason, because she want to save her own booty when this all blows up.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying?
For the victims. She talked to the victims.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we know, but you know, you can't sit around them women and then don't, you know, feel some kind of way.
I got you, Seventh Answer. You're right. That you're right. You're right. Go ahead, let's play the video.
Only a very bad or stupid Republican would be standing where you are. Why is this so important? The release of the Epstein files, the vote to release those files. You are on the side of releasing them, and you're on that side despite President Trump saying that only a very bad or stupid Republican would be standing where you are. Why is this so important to you?
It's for the victims. These women have been waiting, some of them for decades. I talked to several victims that were raped by Jeffrey Epstein back in the 90s. And so this is information that has needed to come out for a very long time. And the American people have demanded it. And so the American people deserve to see transparency from their government. Rich, powerful people should not be protected. That is completely wrong. And it's a message to victims everywhere, victims of rape, human trafficking, and children. Terrible situations that the government will not protect the predators, that we will work hard to protect the victims.
The release of the Epstein files, the vote to release.
I'm no body language expert, but these two images are speaking volumes. Up above, we have 51-year-old Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. And no, I'm not a fan of hers, but I have eyes, right? She's never looked better. She's never looked better. She looks like she found the fountain of youth. She has great color in her skin. She has light in her eyes. She's rocking a Mona Lisa smile. Her face is so relaxed. There's not.
I can actually agree with that. Ever since she stopped messing with him in a couple of days, you notice her face then, you know, toned down instead of being so strong. Like,
yeah, all them spirits coming up off of her. Yeah, all them demons coming up off her ass. Yeah.
Right.
You know, but okay, I'm gonna have to be very careful. But I mean, every time I see this dude now, I see all of them. A very disturbing song, you know, and it had people raising their eyebrows when it first came out, long before R. Kelly. You know, when I keep hearing Rick James 17, you know what I'm saying? And I won't even go into the lyrical content of that song, but every time I hear see these, that song keep coming to my mind. You know, it was disturbing when Rick made it, and that's why he wound up getting off drugs and started seeing the light. But these dudes, man, are demonic and they're lying. And yeah, Marjorie Taylor, with all that pro MAGA she was promote, she better make she got every reason in the world to want to backpedal. And she is looking more relaxed. When you start messing with all them damn demons, they get up off of you a little bit. You do look and feel a whole lot better. Let's keep the energy going, Seventh Dancer.
A hint of tension, and she's got her Jesus cross firmly affixed around her neck. And down below, we have 28-year-old Caroline Leavitt, who doesn't look like she's slept or seen the sun in ages. Look at the tension in her shoulders. It looks like she's carrying the weight of the world. Her eyes devoid of any life. Her jaw, her mouth looks so stiff and tense. And guess what, folks? She's no longer wearing her big old Jesus cross around her neck. Now, outside of this looking like a Freaky Friday situation, both these images have something in common. Both Marjorie and Caroline were being asked about the Epstein files, obviously in separate occasions. To me, this is the face of someone that won or thinks she's going to win. She's exuding confidence. She's relaxed. She's at peace with the side she already chose. Whereas Caroline over here, oh my God, she looks half frightened, half pissed. She looks like a cornered animal on the defensive, ready to attack. She was giving off the same vibes, the same energy that people who lose give off. You know what I mean? Now, I could be wrong about all of this, but I hope and pray that I'm right. Because you see, I don't care about Marjorie Taylor Greene's agenda or Caroline Leavitt's agenda. What I care about is that these victims finally get the justice that they deserve. What I care about is that all of the PDFs that have been involved in this finally are held accountable and are exposed for what they are. I hope that they see their day in court and serve very long terms for the crimes they committed. I'm no body language.
Hey, you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that. While I want to see every single name released so that these women don't have to live in fear and intimidation, which is something I've had a small taste of in just the past few days, just a small taste. They've been living it for years. But the real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files? Or will it all remain tied up in investigations? Will the CIA release the files? Will a judge in New York release the information? That's information that needs to come out. And will the list of names that these women privately hold, and they hold it because of their fear in their heart of what would happen to them if they release it on their own, will that list of names come out? That's the real test. So I want to thank Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna for your bravery in doing something that is much needed in America, crossing the political aisle that has become bigger than the Grand Canyon in America. But these men crossed that aisle on behalf of these women. And that is more of what is needed today in America than ever in our history. Hey, you are going to see
what happens.
Her life could be at danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. See what happens.
Her life could be at danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly,
wow.
I don't think anybody cares about
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Damn.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me.
Oops,
I
sorry.
was called a traitor. I was day one, 2015, and there's a big difference in those Americans and those that decided to support President Trump later on. And I'll tell you right now, this has been one of the most destructive things to MAGA, is watching the man that we supported early on, 3 elections, for people that stood hours, slept in their cars to go to rallies, have fought for truth and transparency, and to hold what we consider a corrupt government accountable. Watching this actually turn into a fight has ripped MAGA apart. And the only thing that will speak to the powerful, courageous women behind me is when action is actually taken to release these files, and the American people won't tolerate any other bullshit. That's where we are today. Thank you.
They filed. Congresswoman Green, you raised the question of whether or not the Justice Department will actually release these files. Do you take the president at his word when he says he's going to sign this bill, and do you have confidence that these files will actually be released?
I only take people's actions seriously, no longer words.
And what do you think the president's actions?
And I'll tell you, because I wasn't a Johnny come lately to the MAGA train. I was day one, 2015, and there's a big difference in those Americans and those that decided to support President Trump later on. And I'll tell you right now, this has been one of the most destructive things to MAGA, is watching the man that we supported early on, 3 elections, for people that stood hours, slept in their cars to go to rallies, have fought for truth and transparency, and to hold what we consider a corrupt government accountable. Watching this actually turn into a fight has ripped MAGA apart. And the only thing that will speak to the powerful, courageous women behind me is when action is actually taken to release these files, and the American people won't tolerate any other bullshit. That's where we are today. Thank you. I was called a traitor by a man.
All right, translation, y'all. Let's get right down to it.
That I grew up off of listening to his music.
I'm sorry, honey. Translation, here what's happening. There are a lot of them out there who are not feeling this whole Israel pact. They're not feeling all the 250 legislators, senators, and politicians who went to Israel and swore allegiance to Israel. You know, one of them, you heard Ted Cruz earlier. And this is why this is also another reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and so many other white folks out there are taking an exception to the moves that are being made. Because we gotta look at who the grand puppeteer is. Netanyahu and the Israeli bunch. See, we always get to the heart of it. See, there's some of them who are rebelling against that. They're not feeling that at all. As the conversation continues, let's continue on, seventh answer.
I think it's a new low for him, but again, we laughed it off. It's more to his detriment than mine that he put something like that out. But I think it was beyond the pale.
Now, the big question.
Joining us now is Democratic Congressman James Walkinshaw from Virginia, a member of the Oversight Committee. Congressman, thanks for taking the time. We know you have to get 2/3 in the House to pass this discharge petition. That's a high bar, especially with how polarized the parties are right now. Do you have confidence you're going to get there?
I think the discharge petition will probably pass nearly unanimously in the House after Donald Trump gave House Republicans permission to vote for it. Had he not done that, I think only a small, courageous handful of House Republicans would have voted for it. But it will pass easily in the House today.
Are you surprised by the president changing course and saying he'll sign the measure if it reaches his desk?
I think the president changed course only when it was crystal clear that he was going to lose the vote. It was clear last week that there were going to be enough votes in the House to pass the bill to release the files. Senate was a different question at that point. But look, the important thing to know is all of the vote in the House, the vote in the Senate doesn't need to happen. What could happen is Donald Trump could decide himself to release the files today.
Yep.
He decided to release files to try to embarrass the late Dr. Martin Luther King FBI files. He could release these files as well.
Here's how Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries framed the president's about face. Let's listen.
Donald Trump appears to have chickened out on the Epstein scandal. He's caved. It's a complete and total surrender.
A complete and total surrender? Is that how you see it?
Look, he spent the last week frantically scrambling to try to get Republicans off the discharge petition. He had Lauren Boebert dragged into the White House Situation Room to have her browbeat by the FBI director and the attorney general. He threatened the political future of Marjorie Taylor Greene and other Republicans. He clearly did everything he could to prevent this from coming to a vote and then to try to win the vote. And he realized that he had lost and the vote was going to pass. And to quote Leader Jeffries, at that point, he surrendered and caved, and he's pretending that he's supported it all along.
He is still calling it a Democratic hoax. We know the Epstein crimes are no hoax, but how do you answer to this suggestion that we also heard from Speaker Johnson last hour that Democrats are trying to use the Epstein files to score political points? And he points out how he had an opportunity to call on past administrations to release all the files, and your party didn't.
I think it's a new low for him.
No, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Aren't you a congressperson touching me? Get off me.
Get this on video.
Get off me.
Get this on video. This is assault. This is assault.
You, Clay Higgins. You're a U.S. congressman touching me. You can get him off the street. Get off me.
Let go of him.
Let him know. Let him. You calm down. You need to calm down. No, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Aren't you a congressperson touching me? Get off me.
Get this on video.
Get off me.
Get this on video. This is assault.
Get off me.
This is assault.
You, Clay Higgins. You're a U.S. congressman.
You have no idea the dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization.
Yeah, and we close out with that punk Stephen Miller. Oh boy, that dumbass speech. Anyway, look, we've given you 3 hours. Oh, well, okay, we'll do a little overtime. I see the 7th
with the vote.
Right.
We're closing out with the vote.
All right. Let it run, 7th answer.
We start with breaking news from Capitol Hill, where the U.S. Senate could be just hours away from passing the bill to release the Epstein files. This after what at first blush appeared to be a stunning show of bipartisan unity in the House, where the bill to release the Epstein files passed this afternoon 427 to 1. Now, we should note that this astounding margin only came to be after every House Democrat and 4 House Republicans united to make it clear this bill would be voted on and would pass. Once that happened, then everyone else in the House and President Trump ran up to the front of the parade as if they had been there the whole time. Speaker Johnson, who voted for the bill, wants changes for the Senate version so as to better protect the survivors of Epstein's, their privacy, as well as other sensitive material, he says.
There's an easy way to amend the legislation to make sure that we don't do permanent damage to the justice system, and I'm going to insist upon that.
If there's no changes to the bill, will you urge the president to veto it? Should it land on his desk?
Cross that bridge when we come to it.
What if you can create your own web?
Now, Senate Majority Leader John Thune says it's not likely that changes will happen. And we should note the legislation as it stands clearly says, quote, the Attorney General may withhold or redact personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, unquote, and any material that depicts injury, physical abuse, death, or child sexual abuse, or would jeopardize an active investigation or national security. President Trump says he would sign the legislation, although as commander-in-chief, there are legal paths for him to compel the Justice Department to release the files without the Congress getting involved at all. He could do so right this second. President Trump today attacking an ABC News reporter for asking the simple question why he wasn't pursuing that avenue.
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right.
In point of fact, that reporter is a nice person and a good reporter. The president threatened ABC's broadcast license moments later, and over the weekend, when a Bloomberg reporter, also a woman, asked him about the subject, he said, "Quiet, piggy." Why such a short temper on this topic, Mr. President? Today, a group of the survivors of Epstein's abuse and trafficking, accompanied by lawmakers and the late family of the late Virginia Giuffre, another abuse survivor, took to Capitol Hill to remind leaders what this is all about: justice for the victims. And several demanded more from President Trump.
To the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you. I do understand that your position has changed on the Epstein files, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill. I can't help to be skeptical of what the agenda is. Show some class, show some real leadership, show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment.
Wow. Joining us now, Spencer Kubin. He's one of the attorneys for survivors of Epstein's abuse and trafficking. Thank you for joining us. How are your clients and other survivors feeling now that this bill has passed the House almost unanimously?
Well, thank you for having me on, Jake. They're thankful and hopeful, but you've got to remember, we're talking about literally hundreds of survivors. I represented 9 of them, including victim number 1, who was the first young girl that went forward to police here in Palm Beach, Florida. And they're not ubiquitous, right? Some of them are fighting as hard as the victims you see in DC. Others want to just forget that their lives ever coincided with Jeffrey Epstein whatsoever. But the ones that are fighting for the release want the full information to be released immediately. And as you pointed out in the broadcast just now, President Trump has said time and again that he could declassify information at the stroke of a pen. In fact, I think he was quoted as saying, just by thinking of it, he could release classified information. So release it all today.
Speaker Johnson has expressed concerns about whether this legislation does enough to protect the privacy of the victims, especially those he just referred to who have not come forward. Do you share his concern? The legislation allows the Attorney General to redact their names and any identifiable characteristics, but do you think that needs to be solidified?
No, I think it's a false issue. It's a false issue that he's raising at this point because the law does protect my clients and other survivors that wish to remain anonymous because of the childhood sexual nature of these allegations. Again, some of the victims have been brave enough to come forward and show their faces and give their names. Others have chosen that they would like to still remain anonymous. And this law provides for that. And that's why this law should be passed, should be signed, and we should see this information immediately.
We heard several of the survivors today in their remarks, including people who voted for President Trump, calling him out, asking him to show stronger leadership on the issue, questioning his motives in some occasions. What have you been hearing from them about their frustrations with President Trump and his administration?
Well, it's frustration. You know, I said today that this is a double U-turn, right? During the president's campaign, he promised that he would get to the bottom of this and release information. And a lot of my clients, along with a lot of other United States citizens, voted for him because of that. He then got into office and apparently was shown what's in the files and changed his mind, or he was briefed on it by the Attorney General. There's no reason why he should have changed his mind. This information needs to be released. And now when he realized that he was about to lose the fight in Congress and it was going to be passed with an overwhelming majority, he then changed his mind again and said, go ahead and release it. So let's see the documents. We want to see them now.
An interesting contradiction in a way. President Trump ordered the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to investigate a number of Democrats named in Epstein's emails that were released by the Oversight Committee, including former President Clinton, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, investor Reid Hoffman, et cetera, et cetera. But according to Pam Bondi, just a few months ago, the Justice Department had already done an exhaustive review of the Epstein material, and there was no one left to prosecute. As this write-up in the National Review puts it, the Justice Department is in the business of investigating crime, not of conducting political opposition research. It would be a federal crime to have conspired with Epstein in a sex trafficking ring. But Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Kash Patel have already said, after a scorched earth review of the government's vast array of Epstein files, that there is no evidence of that, unquote. How do you view this?
Well, it's interesting. And I think that this is a dangerous point that the president has raised now, because as Representative Massey has pointed out in a number of press conferences, that if there's an open investigation, the Department of Justice can keep certain investigation materials confidential. So there may be an ulterior motive to what the president is doing here so that he can keep additional materials away from the American public by saying that there's still an open investigation. But if they attempt to do that, I have a feeling that there are a number of victims that will file suit under the new law that is passed to force the federal government, based on what you've already just shown, to make sure that this information is released.
And there you have it, brothers and sisters. The MAGA, the Don, and the Epstein ugly files. And we've given you 3 hours of conversation. We've given you the who in the hell is Kash Patel of the FBI. And look at this. This dude looks nuts, man. God damn.
He said,
he looks nuts.
He said this is before he's seen the files, and this is after he's seen the files.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen to what the brother says real quick. It's real.
This has a comical narrative to it, but this has a comical narrative to it, but FBI Director Kash Patel's demeanor, it has definitely changed since he started. And that's a great depiction. Those Epstein files, they ain't helping out. This has
Anyway, look, 3 hours we've given you and 13 minutes over, but we hope that you have been thoroughly informed. Here on the Lion's Den, the segment titled The Conversation Continues. Oh, and for my night owls out there, we thank you for riding with us. And all y'all out there And whatever coast you may be on right about now, or time zone you're in, if you roll with us this duration, thank you very much. We hope that you've been thoroughly informed as we now come in for a landing. Don't worry, we'll be back. The conversation shall and still will continue. But in the meantime, in between time, we want you to get up off your duffs and check out things for yourself at all times. For all y'all who missed the live broadcast, don't worry. You know the beauty of it all is what? You can rewatch it, review it, share this video, and share this presentation as we now get taken out by original music by the Seventh Answer, Lady Karima, and to Shaka. I see you came through. Hello, brother. And to Salaya Ben Yah. Yeah. Perhaps Marjorie Taylor Greene may be going for presidential.
I forgot. This song is fire. Hold on. Yeah. Just talk a little bit.
All right. So for Salaya Ben Yah, yeah. Marjorie Taylor may be having presidential aspirations. And yes, Salah, Nicki Minaj, that's right. She's being used to go out here and advocate for a war and affairs she knows nothing about. And so as we close out, again, we give an honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow, and I got to get myself together, and I want y'all to get yourselves together. But again, it's always an honor to be one of the many forerunners in Black media for you to know. So we've covered the Epstein files, the ugly of it all. Donald Trump, you've seen the ugly, how adversarial and disrespectful they're getting and hostile with anyone who's asking all the right questions. We gave you a recap on beware, my Black brothers and sisters, when you go to these doctors and you ladies out there getting pregnant and your brothers you and your wives should investigate midwifery. Take a course in it yourself if need be. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take my own advice and look into it. All right, because we gotta take care of each other now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And as in closing, again, we want you to enjoy the original music that you're about to hear. The Seventh Answer is gonna, take us out with. And as always, like I said, it's not enough for me to say something or you to say something.
No.
But it's up to you all to get up off your behinds and check things out. So, Seventh Answer, do you have any parting shots?
Yeah, I'm about to play his song. No, I'm about to play his song. Thanks for tuning in. And this song that you wrote is fire. So I think it's you and somebody else, but it's fire. I like it.
And so with that being said, as always, in the spirit once known as Don Cornelius, as we sign off, we always say Shalom, peace, Ahab, love, and Napash. Guard and protect your soul. And we are up out of here.
Living life, I didn't listen to Michael, I never thought twice. That encounter with Billie Jean ruined my life. Situation I was in back when I was 10. She was 35, I should have been locked in the pen. Blame my uncle, he set it up, he knew better. Or maybe not, if he knew he would do better. That left me chasing many women, taking all they cheddar. Throwback jerseys, gold chains, and Gucci sweaters. I had no choice but to repent with my knees bent. And I apologize to every Black woman that's hearing this. Especially my wife, I love you with all my life. I've been a fool, but luckily with you I got it right. Now I listen to Michael, I always think twice. And these fringes help me remember to walk in the light. The Most High blessed me with a second chance at life. So I'ma keep the law and vow to live it right this time. Yeah. I'ma live right this time. Yeah. I'ma live right this time. Yeah. I'ma live right this time. Yeah. Raw, I never listened to y'all. I didn't keep the law. That encounter with Hasatan dropped my jaw. Situation I went through when I was 22. Daughter on the way, scared, ain't know what to do. I was smoking foo-foo, got my hands on some spice. I started tweaking, only time that I feared for my life. Blame my uncle, he set it up, he knew better. Or maybe not, if he knew, he would do better. That left me throwing it up, looking in the mirror, couldn't recognize my face. Only thing that I remember, wrong place with the wrong person, that's for certain. So thankful that the Most High didn't close my curtain. Now I listen to y'all, I always keep the law. And these fringes help me remember never to live raw. The Most High blessed me with a second chance at life. So I'ma keep the law and vow to live right this time. Yeah. I'ma live right this time. Yeah. I'ma live right this time. Yeah. I'ma live right this time. Yeah.